Okay, hello everybody, welcome to TìandTarot, or welcome back to TìandTarot if you've been here before. So today's reading is going to be a little bit different, and so feel free, if you're feeling drawn to pick all of the piles, because each pile is actually addressing a different question or a different topic, because we've got a specific type of tarot card on the table. So we've got the Star card, the Sun card, and the Moon card. And so because of that, for those of you who pick pile 1 with the Star, we'll be asking what dream of yours is coming true. Right now, a dream of yours is coming true. What one is it? And we'll be digging deeper into that. For those of you that pick the Sun card, we'll be answering the question, what will be your next greatest success? The next big success of yours, what will it be? And we'll be digging deeper into that as well. And for those of you who pick the Moon card, we'll also be answering what new phase are you entering into? What transition, what new gate or threshold are you crossing over to? You can pick all the piles if you'd like all of those questions answered, but if you're feeling more drawn to one, then go with that or do it in a different order. I sometimes do that. If I'm watching someone else's tarot reading video and I'm feeling drawn to like pile 4 as well as 2, but more so 4, I'll watch 4 and then I'll come back to 2. So do it however feels right for you. And instead of crystals today to choose from, we have flowers. So for pile 1, these are your flowers. And this is your Star card. For pile 2, these are your flowers. And this is your Sun card. And for pile 3, these are your flowers. And this is your Moon card. Once you have picked your pile, there will be a timestamp in the description box below for you to find your reading more easily, and I will meet you there. Bye! Okay, hello my pile 1s, welcome to your reading. So let's move your Star card and your flowers over here. And let's get into your cards. So, first of all, we want to know the type of dream of yours that's coming true. So let's get an oracle card for that. A dream or a wish. Ooh, we have the Shadow. That's so interesting. Okay, one of your wishes or dreams that are coming true right now is that you're overcoming or coming to terms with the unseen sides of yourself, darker sides of yourself, shadow sides, or, sides of you that you haven't yet embraced about yourself. Once you embrace these, you really open new opportunities and doors for yourself because you're finally your true self. Like, you're in harmony and in balance with all versions of you. You're able to utilize your shadows as and when you need them. So, for example, let's say, like, you were taught that standing up for yourself, being angry or aggressive or assertive is disrespectful to others. And so you never did it. But there's still a side of you internally that feels the anger when someone mistreats you or crosses a boundary. You start to realize that standing up for yourself, being assertive, being aggressive is not a failing. It's a protective mechanism within you. And yes, it might be uncomfortable for that person. It might be mean to that person. But is it deserved? Yes. And would it be meaner to yourself to not stand up for yourself? Yes. Like, why should you stand there and take someone else's kind of abuse just to protect their feelings when they're clearly not thinking about protecting yours? So it's things like that. You're able to then harness this side of you where if someone's like yelling at you or being inappropriate with you, you can then sort of utilize your shadow and match that energy or put them back in their place and remind them that they don't get to speak to you in that way. So it's things like that, like you're finally utilizing all these different sides of yourself because you're understanding yourself better. I love that. That's so gorgeous as well. Like, you've got these two like figures that are clearly like very like regal, important. Okay, so in the pursuit of this dream or this wish, is this something you can be quite passive about that will find you on its own, or do you have to be quite active? We have the Knight of Swords in reverse. We also have the Six of Wands coming out for you. Where can I put these? I want it to like look cute on the board, but I'm not sure like whereabouts. We'll put it here for now, and then we'll see. Knights are usually about taking action, but it is a sword card and it is in reverse. And swords are like your thinking, your like doing a lot of like inner work more so than like being like aggressive or assertive on the outside. Also the Knight is in reverse, so it implies a passivity. But then with the Six of Wands, again, horses are about taking action, and you do have horses in here. And the Six of Wands, this person has like won the battle, coming back to their people, and their people are cheering them on and proud of them and happy for them and celebrating them. Action has been taken, you know, to get this and to be seen differently and valued and honoured in a way that you deserve. Action has been taken, you've done something, you've achieved something, and Wands are about action taking as well. So I would say it's a mix. It's a mix of passivity with action to kind of bring this dream into fruition. Editing voiceover Katie here. The reason I think it's a mix of two, of kind of passivity or like internal work and then also active external work, is because you have to first identify when it's time to use that shadow and what shadow to use. And because you've been out of touch with that, it takes internal work to do that. But then it also requires that courage and that action when you do realise what you're feeling and what you need, to then make sure that's what you get. So I think that's why there's a mix of the two. So how will you get there? How will you make this dream happen? Ooh, we have the Three of Wands here. With, you had another card here, the Ace of Pentacles. I think to make this dream come true, when it's kind of like a phase, like a cycle. So there are parts that are within your control and parts that aren't. It's kind of just moving with the motions and adapting to what comes. And with the Ace of Pentacles here, it's like you will be put into new situations, new opportunities that test whether or not you are aligned with your shadow self. And you will have this kind of internal pause where you realise, let me wait a minute. I feel like I'm meant to do something here. What am I meant to do? And you'll get that intuitive feeling like, stand up for yourself. Or do this or do that. You'll get like told by your intuition, your gut feeling, your inner wisdom, what needs to be done to align yourself with your shadow self in that moment. And then you will act on it. So it's like you'll be presented with these opportunities. It could be something as simple as like, I don't know, let's say like a group, you're standing with two people, and you're trying to talk as a trio, but they're slowly like phasing you out and turning their backs to you. Yes, you could walk away, or yes, you could continue to stand there, but you could also call out the issue and address it. And it doesn't matter if they take in what you've said or listen. It more so matters what their reaction is for you to see them for who they are. So it's things like that, like you'll feel that bravery in that moment to say something and call out the weirdness that's kind of going on. It's also about making progress with that. So once you've caught that feeling, once you're holding on to it with the Three of Wands there, how can you expand it? How can you grow that? How can you lean into it? Do you want to go home and journal about the experience? Interrogate what part of your shadow side that was and try and get in touch with it. Try to connect with it so that you can feel more comfortable doing that again in another situation and another one and another one until you fully understand this side of yourself and you can marry it with the other side of yourself, your light side and your shadow side. So it's about working with the new opportunities that are thrown your way, adapting to them, and then choosing to progress and expand that feeling in that moment and that shadow that came out in that moment. Okay. What will it take and add from your life, this dream? Because everything new kind of requires a sacrifice. Something old needs to move out of the way for something new to come in. So Ooh, what it will bring into your life. You have brow chakra. So this essentially means that, let me move these a little bit. This essentially means that your perspective has shifted from the physical to the spiritual, and you can see both at the same time. So you can see beyond what is happening in the moment, beyond the feelings and the kind of getting caught up and swept up in the moment. You can pause, you can breathe, reflect, and see the situation for what it is, see people for what they are, and identify what part of yourself needs to come out to protect you or to maintain the best outcome. So that's what it will bring into your life, is this like heightened wisdom. It's very powerful energy. And what is it going to take? Oh, we have visual guidance in reverse. It's interesting because these are like, with the brow chakra, I know it's the brow, but we've got the glasses here, and then we've got this visual element with the eye here. Very interesting. Okay. So, what it's getting rid of is the fact that you are out of touch with your second sight. So that's like this as well. You've fallen out of touch with your intuition at the moment. So by manifesting this dream in, what you're losing is that out of touchness, is that disconnection, and you're regaining it here. So basically the way you reconnect, because you will have been ignoring your intuition to put other people's feelings first and above yours, you would have been ignoring it. So as I said, in moments where people are disrespecting you, you kind of stay quiet or allow it or laugh it away rather than address it. That is quieting your intuition again and again and again until it's really, really small. You're wearing it down because your intuition is saying, do something about this, and you're ignoring it. But when you start listening to it and you start doing things about it, the intuition gets louder. And then you know exactly what to do. Rather than being like, oh, what do I do? How do I handle this situation? When you're next in that situation again, it's just like second nature to you. You just know what to do. The number 2 keeps coming in. I've said second nature, I've said second sight. That keeps coming in time and time again. It's about balance and harmony of your shadow and your light. Especially with the star, your light and your shadows. Oh my god, that's so cute. Like the night sky and your stars. You need to get in touch with that. With both sides of yourself. And just immerse yourself in it. But that's what it's taking away, is that loss of connection. It's helping to clear that out so that you can regain that connection. You've basically got like the same card twice, which is really cool. I wanted to use these cards, but I didn't know what for, but there is space on your board. So I'm probably going to pull about 3 of these. But what situations, what opportunities may present themselves that you have to kind of use this shadow side on? Oh, okay, so we have inside scoop, a closer look, nosy, up in your business. So it's people may push your boundaries or try and involve themselves in situations where they don't really have a right to. They don't have a right to know or to have an input. So it could be things like, this is so random, but if you're like picking a wedding dress or something, and then your like mum or mum-in-law is like, no, I want you to wear this one. You're not wearing that other one, it's ugly, it's gross, it's disgusting. It doesn't matter how much you love it, they're putting it down because they want to control the situation and they want you to wear what they want you to wear. It's like them being like, you know what, this isn't about you. Okay? So it's like stuff like that, like people being way too nosy. Oh, okay, we have carless, so no car, repo, car issues in reverse. I think it will also be a case of people trying to use your resources or offer out your resources to others without consulting you first. So let's say, for example, you drive a car and one of your friends doesn't, but they're constantly saying, oh, Pile 1 can drive you to that. And it's like, you never said you would drive them to that. And they're offering out your car and your stuff. So again, it's setting those boundaries with those people. And then we also have fake smiles. So anyone who is disingenuous, you're having to address that and call it out and be like, what you said there was a lie, or what you did there was fake, or you say you're my friend but then you do A, B and C, and you're calling it out. And they're probably going to dismiss it, try and, make you smaller or make you feel ridiculous for it. Regardless of what they try, it's not about what they're trying to do to you. It's about taking yourself out of the situation, looking at them and seeing how they're responding to your valid concern, And if they dismiss it, if they make it smaller than it is, you know that they're not for you. But if they own up to it and they apologize and they try and see your side of things, then you know that maybe there was some genuineness behind them and that there's some good intention there. But you don't have to get caught up in the back and forth of them trying to manipulate you and gaslight you and twist things, and you like getting swallowed up in that and trying and bending to their will and making excuses and apologizing yourself for something you didn't even do. You don't have to do that. You can say your piece and they can start saying whatever they want to say to diminish you, and you can walk away. That is so valid. Like, if you're not in the right space to have a conversation with them, if you're realizing this conversation is going to head nowhere, you have every right to walk away from that conversation. You don't have to stay there. And let them call you what they're going to call you. Get comfortable with the discomfort, because that's what's going to help you tap back into your intuition. I did not see your pile going this way, pile 1, but that is what we have for you because you got the shadow card. So that was your reading, pile 1. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe, and if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye! Okay, hello my pile 2s, welcome to your reading. So let's put your sun card and your flowers over here. And let's get straight into your reading today. So, our first question is... Alright then. What will be your next greatest success? I thought you were going to get this card. That's so crazy. Okay, so we have the Seer. That's really interesting. If you were drawn to pile 3, I know we haven't done it yet, so I don't know how it's going to go, but of course it's about transitions. I would say check that out, just because you have the Seer card. But your next biggest success is essentially... I would call this a spiritual transformation or a spiritual up-leveling, I suppose. And it doesn't necessarily mean, when I say spiritual, you're not in a box. It doesn't mean that this is just a spiritual up-leveling and it doesn't impact your life elsewhere. This can exclusively impact your life, but it's going to come from a spiritual place to begin with, through your dreams, through your intuition, through your subconscious. But we've got the Seer here with the snakes and the kind of Medusa-esque energy. And so what we're seeing is a wisdom. A wisdom is coming to you, a knowledge that others don't have, so that you can see things differently from others. You can see a new perspective, see things for what they are, for the truth. So some really important messages and imagery is going to be coming to you in your dreams, and that is going to be one of your biggest successes, because it's going to help you see and perceive things differently. I feel like it also has something to do with a connection with nature as well. The way you see nature will change. Okay, so do you need to be active or passive when it comes to this success? Is it something that will just come to you, or do you kind of need to work on it? Wow, yeah, I was right about the dreams. You have the 9 of Swords and you also have the Fool card. Okay. The Fool card makes me feel like it's, again, a mix of both, just because you're actively going on this journey, you're doing it and initiating it yourself, but at the same time you've got this spiritual guidance protecting you, because you're going to make mistakes, because you're not that, well, the Fool is, but you're not like used to these, you're not expecting these pitfalls and all of these things, so the spirit guide is there to help you avoid those. And then you've got the 9 of Swords here. It's giving more so passivity rather than action, but I do think there's a little bit of action that is required. I think it's the initiation. Once this change or this transition is initiated, it will just steamroll from there on its own, organically. But it's so interesting that you got the 9 of Swords there, because I was talking about things kind of coming to you in your dreams, you seeing things differently, and here are all these spirits like visiting this person in this dream, and she's having to work out the truth from the illusions. So that's where the Seer energy comes in. So yeah, I think you can be passive once the journey has begun, but you have to be active towards it initially. how will this success come about? How do you get this success? We have the Knight of Cups in reverse. And you also had the Page and Seven of Wands as well. Interesting. I think it's like there's some sort of challenge standing in your way, some sort of obstacle that you can't see your way around. Like, you can't see a way out. And that means this kind of seer ability is really required here. This external wisdom that's being bestowed to you is really needed for you to move past this challenge or this obstacle. There's something you want that you can't get to because there's a challenge in the way. So there's a fresh perspective needed because you've got a lot of feelings and emotions caught up in this. And because those emotions are almost adding to the challenge a little bit, the seer energy is coming in to help you realize you're a free spirit and you can move around this challenge. Like, you can do this differently. You're looking at it from a very physical kind of way, and you need to look at it from a more spiritual, flowy kind of way. I think this seer energy is going to bring in new ideas for you. So the way to kind of get this success is to think about things differently. Come at it from a new perspective with new ideas. Especially with the Fool energy as well. Definitely you need a new perspective. You need to block out the noise, the background noise you're getting from this challenge being in your way, because it's making you immobile. It's making you not take action. It's pausing you. It's like you're hearing the noise around you louder than the way around the situation. The way around this situation for her is if she dealt with her anxiety, but because she's not, and the anxiety is growing and growing and growing because she's not dealing with it, she's not addressing it. So it's almost like you have to go on this sort of spiritual quest to address where these emotions, this moodiness, this jealousy is coming from. This unrealistic outlook that you have where you're thinking you're never going to get the thing because someone else has it or because there's a challenge standing in your way. You need to release all of that. So you're kind of going on this internal journey, this internal quest. Once you do that, it then allows you, once you've been on this internal journey, it allows you to look at your challenges without fear of failure, without fear of, or anxiety, getting swept up by fear and anxiety. That then stops you from going after what it is you want and stops you seeing a way around the challenge. Instead, it imbues you with new ideas, a free spirit energy where you're not tied down by your deep feelings of jealousy, worry, dread, anxiety. So this internal quest you're going on to see things differently is going to help you achieve the things you want, because instead of being immobilized by your feelings are changing so that you can keep moving and making progress. So what will this success add to your life? We have confidence. I love that. Okay. So it's literally going to make you feel a million times better about your capabilities, because I think at the minute, without this inner seer energy, you don't feel like you can do it. You have a lot of self-doubt, and that's where all of those horrible feelings, that jealousy, that envy, that moodiness is coming from, because you don't think you can get there. And the more you see other people being successful at it, or the more challenges you see standing in your way, it makes those feelings worse. So by having the seer energy where you can see your future or see the next move to get you there, it just changes your perspective completely and gives you the confidence you need to go after what it is you want without being immobilized by the fear of failure. So that's something it's going to give you. Something it's going to take away from your life is your inner screen. I feel like this is a division, like some sort of barrier. It's taking away the barrier you have that kind of puts you in, it kind of makes you think exclusively about what could go wrong and yourself and what's standing in your way, rather than seeing the bigger picture. So it's removing that blockage, so that rather than seeing just this small little piece of the world, you're seeing this big part of the world behind you. It's helping to open you up so that you can see things differently. There's a massive energy on seeing with all the eyes as well. You might even get glimpses of your future in your dreams based on if you do or don't go after the thing you want. that could also be a part of the seer energy coming in. And it's like genuinely from your higher self, genuinely from like a divine place, that you're being given that dream so that you can act differently or move differently. What are the challenges you're kind of worried about? What is the thing that's standing in your way? Okay, so we've got broker. So you're worried about finances. Maybe you need money to get the things you want. So what you could be seeing is a new avenue for how to make money. Or you, in your dreams, you could be seeing a future where you have it or you don't, and what you did or didn't do to get those outcomes. Yeah, you're worried about faking it till you make it. You don't want to pretend you're there and keep up a facade. You just want to be there. You want to be at the successes that you want in life. You don't want to be someone who has to beg for the things that they have in their life and the opportunities they have. You just want to be there. You want to be the person who is there already and doesn't need to do any of that stuff because you're stable and you're secure. So your dreams will definitely show you, because you've got the seer. I'm imagining the communication channel will be your dreams, but your dreams will show you ways around these things. And that will greatly improve your confidence and help you overcome challenges, which will be your next greatest success, because that's going to help you with every endeavor you have next. With every single thing that comes your way, this new attitude is going to help you, so that instead of constantly dropping all of your goals because you're so afraid of what could or couldn't happen, instead you're going to pursue them and see where it goes anyway. And that up-levels the success of every endeavor that you would ever go after in your life. So this is one of your next biggest successes, pile 2. I hope you're excited about it. It sounds exciting. And I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. And if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye! Okay, hello my pile 3s. Welcome to your reading. So this is your moon card. And these are your flowers, which we'll place over here. Okay, and let's get straight into your reading. So, firstly, of course, the deck I need is right at the bottom. Okay. So, firstly, we want to ask, what new phase of your life are you entering next? You know, what gate are you being granted, access through? Oh, we have the lunar moth. You literally have the moon moth. What the hell? That's so crazy. Okay, moons are your thing right now. Pile 3. We also have fawn as well. I was just feeling 2, so 2 has come out. Ooh, with the lunar moth. Okay, it basically, you're definitely breaking free from bad habits, and not just that, but you're transforming bad habits into good ones. You know, you're taking a healthy break from your obsessions, so that you can gain new insights. And with the fawn, it's like these are significant changes that are greatly going to impact your life for the better, especially financially. So you're getting new opportunities coming your way, especially in a financial sense, because you're changing bad habits into good ones. You're getting rid of unhealthy obsessions and replacing them with new revelations. So that is an amazing transformation. First of all, that is an amazing transition. Pile 3. So let's see, is this something you can be quite passive about that will kind of find its way to you, or is this something you have to be active about? I feel like I already know though. Oh my gosh, you're joking. Okay, so first of all, you have the Ace of Cups in reverse, as well as the Four of Wands. So definitely something you have to be active about, because, and I love that with the Four of Wands, we're getting that new phase, that transition again. You're going through a phase, you're going through one level to another because of this this arch here. You're going towards a period of respite, of pause, of safety, of peace, and good fortune as well. With the Ace of Cups in reverse, I do feel like action is required. However, the start of the journey will happen organically, and then it requires action to maintain it. So it might feel easier in the beginning to kind of transform these habits, but as time goes on, you want to return to the things that brought you comfort, even if they're bad for you. And that is harder to to ignore that craving within you, the more time goes on. So I think it requires action later, but in the beginning it can be quite a passive pursuit, this kind of transformation of toxic habits, unhealthy obsessions into positive habits and new financial opportunities. This is so interesting. Okay, and what do you need to do to transition, to go through this phase? What do you need to do if you're to be taking action? Wow, we have the Tower in reverse. That's very interesting. You need to avoid situations that challenge your peace. Okay, so you need to avoid situations that are going to bring out negativity within you, especially with the Knight of Cups in reverse here. If there are situations that make you moody, jealous, angry, that make you look at things from an unrealistic perspective, or make you kind of get lost and swept up in these harsh, toxic emotions, if it wrecks your peace, you need to try and avoid those as much as possible, because that is going to trigger those toxic habits into action. And of course, you want to avoid your triggers as much as possible so that you can continue to pursue these new positive habits. So the thing you need to do to make this phase happen, make this come true, is avoid your triggers, avoid the things that make you give in to what toxic cravings you have within you. And don't allow, if you can't avoid them, don't allow them to sweep you up in their noise. So, for example, I kind of said this in pile 2, so if you were feeling drawn there, you can go over there if you want to. But in pile 2, for the sun pile, I was saying, even if someone has done something disrespectful to you and you have called it out and they are continuing to double down, to call you names, say you're being dramatic, to diminish it and diminish your feelings, you don't have to get swept up in that, because you're not engaging in the conversation, you're engaging in what you're observing out of the conversation, okay? So you're not looking to respond, you're looking to monitor their response. Because if you come to them and say, hey, that thing you did hurt me, and their response isn't to apologise, isn't to try and ask you what they did wrong so they can work on it and change, if that's not their response, you don't need to engage in that conversation. If their response is to double down, diminish you, put down your feelings about it, you don't have to be a part of that conversation. You can walk away, because it's not going to head anywhere you want it to go. It's not going to be a productive conversation. On top of that, it will just cause you anguish. It will cause you these harsh, hurtful feelings. So it's best to just walk away. Additionally, you're looking for their response, because if they respond in the first way that I said, great. That's a genuine, lovely person. If they respond in the second way, that is not a good person. So it's then up to you to walk away from that person entirely, because they're not changing. So it's things like that, like if a trigger of yours is unavoidable, like a person in particular, the way to avoid them triggering you is to not engage with them. Just completely not engage. You're allowed to walk away, you're allowed to go sit outside, sit in your car, sit somewhere else. Go be where they're not and take space from them. And whatever words they say, recognise it's more about them losing control over you and panicking and wanting to reassert that control than it is about being truthful. It's not them being honest and being like genuinely thinking you are being ridiculous or dramatic or whatever. It's them worrying that you're seeing the truth of the situation, which is that they don't deserve to be around you. And so they're panicking and doubling down because they want to maintain that control. So you can just disengage and you can just clock out from what they're saying, because it's not true. So that is how you can kind of action this new phase of your life. Additionally, if it's something like financial, because we did have the fawn there, if it's like you really love spending your money on payday, the second that money comes in, You can avoid your triggers by not going into shopping centres. Don't do activities that are going to require you to spend. If someone invites you out to the beach, great. If someone invites you out for a walk, great. If someone invites you out to go look around the nice new Christmas markets, you say no. You say, get away from me. You're not going to drag me down with you. That's what you say. Okay. So if it's something like that, do that. If it's like you want to save money, just avoid the triggers that are going to make you spend money. If you like buying online, don't open that tab. Pick a different tab. Go look on Pinterest and look at the pretty drawings over there and draw something, okay? Don't open, your Pretty Little Things or Boohoo tab. Don't do it. What will this new phase of your life bring into your life? We have other people. That is so cute. Okay, because it's like you're getting rid of toxic habits, which not only makes you a better person, but it also makes you identify better people, because you're no longer tolerating things that you previously would have. And because of that, you now don't have tolerance for people who aren't good enough to be around you. So your tolerance for bullshit is lower. So you can bring in people that are more aligned to you, but also you won't mistreat people because you're replacing toxic habits with good ones. And as you do start to manifest these new financial opportunities, it gives you actually more opportunities in general, just to like go out, meet people, do things, because you have money to spend, right? So in general, it will just bring in new people for you. So that's so lovely. Oh, and what will it take out of your life? We have interpretation in reverse. Yeah. You're not seeing things and going, well, there's two sides to every story, or this could be the case, or I could just dip into this toxic habit just once and I won't do it again. There's no sort of, what's being taken out is your perception of things being like a little bit more grey. Instead, you're seeing things more black and white, more like yes or no. Like you're like, I cannot engage in that toxic habit ever, or else it could open the door for me spiraling backwards, and I don't want to move backwards, I want to move forwards. Or it's a case of like, rather than looking at people and being like, well, they may not have meant what they said and blah, 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 and you're making excuses for them, you're not doing that. You're acting with the facts you have and you're saying, okay, they did not do a good thing, we're moving on. Or looking at yourself and doing the same thing and saying, that was unacceptable, we're not doing that again. So it's things like that. Things aren't open to interpretation. It's very black or white. It's pushy or no pushy. If you know, you know. It's from Ghosts.
Pushy or no pushy? Robin, let me ask you this. What was the context?
So it's very much, it is or it isn't. It's taken away your tolerance for certain behaviours and habits and things you see within yourself that you're not happy with, and things you see in others that you're not happy with. It's taken away your tolerance for those unhappy things. What are you getting rid of within yourself? What are these toxic habits? You're getting out of your own way with the Queen rising in reverse. You're not preventing your progress anymore. You're honouring it. You're not preventing it. You're motivating it. You're manifesting it. You're getting rid of unhealthy obsessions for sure with dirt digging here, because that was a theme of the lunar month, is these unhealthy obsessions. If you're obsessing over a particular person or an ex or a friend or something and you're always on their social media looking, you just have to stop using that social media until that desire to look goes away, because you'll always kind of be curious. It will always be in the back of your mind. So just don't use that app. If you spy on them on Insta or something, stop using Instagram, okay? Like, you have to do that to tackle the toxic habit first. Yes, and you're getting rid of not only other people who lie and embellish, but also potentially your own ability to do that, to make things up, to lie. Because it could be a case of like, let's say you're obsessing over someone and you found something out and they're like, well, how did you find that? And you're like, no, I wasn't doing nothing, but you were doing something, So it could be you, it can also be other people, but that's something you're getting rid of, you're overcoming to be able to move into this new phase. You have to let that go. Anything toxic, it has to move out the way if you want to enter your Queen rising. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in the same place, so you have to, even working on it, you're not stuck in the same place, you're moving forward because you're working on it. But there has to be a complete removal of the working on it to it being done for this whole phase to work out. But that was your reading pile 3. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. And if you were drawn to any other piles, please feel free to check those out now. And if not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye!